All right, so here's my update for this week. Again, I'm doing the Sculpted Vegans Sculpt and Shred 18-month program. So we got a long way to go, but I just finished week 3 and it was a pretty successful week. The main thing is I had just notably so much energy this week, and I honestly think it's just my hormones. So we'll see over the next couple of weeks if my energy stays up. I'm going to try to keep eating the same things and keeping everything pretty much the same, and just seeing like naturally if, I do all these things the same, if my energy changes. And I feel like it probably will. But I mean, I was just so like pumped and hyper like going into the gym for most of the days this week. Last week I think I mentioned I was going to try to do most of my workouts here at home, and the Monday workout was really well. Like I had all the equipment here to do that pretty well, because a lot of it was bench press. There's like a couple variations of bench press, and I was able to do that on the machine that we had. So that went really well Monday, but then I'm so used to going to the gym and doing these exercises in the gym. We were getting up early enough, so we just went ahead and went into the gym. And there's also like, if we could get a couple more pieces of attachments for the cable machine, I think we could do pretty much all the upper body stuff here. But I want to get like a bar, like an easy bar attachment. Sorry, I had a phone call. But yeah, so just the workouts were really good this week. I was able to go a lot heavier with my weights and everything. And yeah, so that part is all good. We'll see how things play out over the next couple of weeks. If my theory is right, then I'm going to try to keep everything the same as I've been doing as far as the diet. I was pretty happy with the diet this week because I got really lazy with it. Not lazy, but I was eating a lot more processed foods, but also like it was higher protein. And because I was eating, so like I ate all the bars, I need to get some more, but I found some things like this. Like I bought some vegan like cookies and protein bars, and I basically was eating canned soup and some frozen like fake meats. Like I had these I think it was Impossible brand meatballs that I would put in my soup to add more protein to it. So I was really focused on trying to get more protein. I wish that I could do it in a way to where I was eating more like whole foods, but it is just kind of hard to get more protein in that way. And the other way I could go about it, which is what I did in my 12-week program, was it was still kind of using some processed foods, but I was like making my own seitan and what was the other stuff? Seitan and no, it was just 2 kinds of seitan that I was making, and eating a lot of tofu, and I was just kind of tired of the tofu and seitan, so I went with the more processed stuff this week, even though those are kind of processed. But I don't know. So we'll just see over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to keep the diet exactly the same and see just what happens. If it's just my hormones, or if it was the fact that I was eating more protein. I was successful. That was the other goal that I had, was to try to up the amount of protein I was eating. So I wasn't really focused on, the 2 things I was focused on was total calories and protein. So I wanted to stay under 2,000 calories, ideally under 1,800 calories, while also having at least like 35 to 40% protein when you look at the macro breakdown. And I did that on most of the days. I'll show you here in a second like what my macro breakdowns were on my app, but it looks like I got 34% protein total averaged out over the week, 34% per day. And that was it averaged out to 164 grams a day. Last week it was 123. So I definitely, bumped it up quite a bit. And same thing, my carbs went down from 235 grams a day to 166 grams a day. So I brought my carbs down. And how does that work out? Oh, and then my fats went down a little bit too. So yeah, I lowered the grams of fat and carbs and upped my grams of protein. So it could have been that too. It could have been my hormones. Could have been that I have more protein. Could have been a combination of both. So I'm just gonna wait and see over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Keep doing the same thing I did. It was really easy. Like literally everything was just like I had 2 protein shakes a day, or I was eating like a packet of these cookies or bars, so I wasn't really having to cook anything besides my soup at night. So it didn't take a whole lot of time. I was thinking I may do like a what I eat in a day. I know that's kind of like cliche, like everybody does that, but I don't know. Maybe if people are interested, I'll show what I did with this, even though I don't feel like it's the healthiest because there's so much processed stuff in it, but it was quick and easy, and I, got closer to my goal of increasing my protein. There's a couple nights where I did like, last night I had like, actually a couple nights I was eating like a bunch of grapes at night. So I don't know, I'll still play around with it. The thing that I'm struggling with in terms of like staying on track is I'm so used to eating just naturally. I do intermittent fasting, like that's what my body seems to want to do, and I'm actively trying to not do that. I'm trying to keep a lot of my protein and stuff like in the morning, so I'm like having a bar either before the gym or right after the gym, and trying to have a protein shake in the morning like right after the gym. And I'll do good throughout the day, but then at night it's like I'm so used to just eating like a massive meal at night that I still want to do that, even though like I'm eating quite a few calories in the day. So I'm trying to like get myself out of that habit of just like eating so much at night that I'm just super full and fall asleep super full. But yeah, like overall I think it was pretty good this week, so we will see how it goes. My weight is going up. It stayed like hovering around 140 all week, so it was like 139 some days, 140 some days, so it averaged out to be 140.2. And my average weekly calories were 1825, which was lower than last week. Last week it was 2066 was the average calories a day. So yeah, this kind of solidifies my thought, or what I've seen, that my maintenance is around 16 to 1800 calories. So I think if I stay below 1800 or below 1750, then my weight will probably go down. But I'm, like I said before, I'm not really that concerned about that. Right now I'm more concerned about like maybe the recomposition aspect of it, if I'm gaining more muscle. And so I guess we'll see with the measurements this week. I don't think it'll be a drastic change. I don't know if it'll be any change. We'll see. But in a couple of weeks, I'm actually going to be at a work event in the city where I had gotten the DEXA scan before. That's a few hours away. And so I'm thinking about getting another DEXA scan just to see, like, it will have only been a month since I've been working out again. So I don't know that I really expect there to be that much of a change, but I'm feeling different. Like I feel like I'm building muscle and getting more toned. So I don't know. I'm just kind of curious to see like how much, if anything, working out consistently in the gym you can do in a month. So I talked about doing a workout on Saturday, and I didn't do like a full workout, but I did do some more extensive cardio on Saturday. So instead of just walking on the treadmill, I did 10 minutes on the stair stepper, which maybe for some people that's not that big of a deal, but I mean, the stair stepper just wears me out. So going 10 minutes on the stepper like did seem to like bump up my workout, my cardio on Saturdays. So I think I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna try to do 10 or 15 minutes on the stepper on Saturdays, and see how that goes. So I like that. And yeah, I'll just get to it. I'll run through my apps real quick and then I will do my measurements and we'll see where we're at. Okay, so we will start with my weight on the Fitbit, and like I said, it's just hovered between 140, like 139, 140 all week, so not much of a change. Last week my average weight was 139. This week it's a little over a pound more, 140, so I don't know, staying about the same. We'll see how it goes next week. And my Fitness Pal, so these were my calories. I had one day that I went a little bit crazy, and that was the day that I had like over 200 grams of protein. I was just like super hungry at night, and I just kept eating, but I don't know. It happens, you know? So we'll see how next week goes on that. As far as the macros, yeah, look at how high the protein, that yellow bar is on that day. It was, you know, higher than all the other days. So were the carbs too, but, or no, actually the fats were quite a bit more that day. The carbs were lower. But anyway, yeah, so I had the 34% average on the protein, 35 on carbs, 31 on fat. So I do want to get my protein maybe a little bit higher, but like I said, I felt pretty good this week. So yeah, if I could get it between like 35 and 40% and keep my calories below 1800, that's going to be my goal for next week. But, oh, also, yeah, my carbs were kind of higher because, like I think I mentioned last week, we had gone to the grocery store, me and my roommate, and we were hungry, and no, that was the week with the bread. Anyway, this week it was apples. They have this type of apple, these Cosmic Crisp apples that are so good. They're my favorite apples, and they had them at Walmart. I normally don't find them at Walmart. I get them at Sam's Club, but they were there, and I got apples, and so I was eating apples every day until I ran out. So I'm not going to get any more apples this week. And yeah, we'll just see how it goes. So I will hop over now and do my measurements. Okay, so how we're looking, still about the same. Like I said, I don't really expect to see much change for a while. This is a long-term thing. So there's that. Now I will change my bottoms and do the measurements. Okay, so I got the measuring tape. I will say my chest seems to be falling out of this a little more than usual, so we'll see if my chest has changed. Maybe I just have it tied tighter. I don't know. But, okay, so last week the band was 30. It's been around 30 since we started, so I don't know if this will change that much. It did go down a little bit last week. Hoping some of this in the back here eventually will go down. But let's see. Yeah, still right about the same, right at 30. And then the bust. About 35 and a half, which is a little bit bigger than last week. Last week it was 35 and a quarter, which is really weird. Actually, I guess it's not weird since I did gain weight. I tend to gain and lose in my chest first. So 2 weeks ago it was 35, then it went up a little bit last week. Now it's gone up a quarter inch again this week. And so yeah, that could be where some of my weight gain went. My waist had also gone up last week, but I also had taken these after I had eaten. We'll see if my waist... Is this right? Okay, yeah, so maybe it was because I ate last week before I did these, but, well, let's see. So yeah, we'll go with 31.5. Last week it was 32. Then my hips. Last week my hips had actually gone down a little bit. This week they've gone up. So last week it was 38 3/4. This week it's 39 1/4. And again, it could be that I'm just measuring a little bit different from week to week, but I think in the long run it won't make that much of a difference if I have little things that are off from week to week. And then my thigh. My thighs have been pretty much about the same, but I feel like nope, my thighs the same this week, 21.5, but they feel super, they feel like they're getting pretty toned. So I'm hoping that this is becoming more muscle. So I guess we'll see. So I had it at 21.5. All right, so that's it. Like I said, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Try to get my carbs down a little bit more, try to get my protein up a little bit more, and keep working out. Try to keep pushing hard in my workouts and see how much muscle I can build over these next 18 months. I did have one other thing that I want to mention. Well, I don't want to mention it, but I think it's relevant. So throughout this whole time, I haven't really had many issues with like my stomach or anything like that. And there was no major issues this week, but apparently I looked online and this is a thing. Like there was one day in particular, like I just felt pretty bloated and just gassy. And so apparently protein farts is a big thing when people start upping their protein in the gym. And so I definitely like experienced that one day. And so I was doing a little bit of research about it, and I don't know if this is true or not. Like with all of this, you know, like workout and weightlifting stuff, you know, there's kind of like bro science and everything. So I don't know what's like accurate or not, but I came across this video where someone was saying that it like depends on the type of protein you're taking in. If it's like natural protein versus like protein powders, and then even with the powders and the processed stuff, depending on how the protein is processed, it could cause that to happen. And I think it was maybe this one bar in particular, because it was like the first day that I was eating this one type of like protein bar, and then my roommate also had one, and he had the same thing happen, and he normally eats pretty high protein. So I'm thinking it may have been that bar, but I was eating the bar like for the days after that too, and I didn't really experience it as bad. But yeah, like with my diet, I haven't really noticed getting gas ever since like when I was very first like transitioning over to being vegan, and it seemed like lentils in particular was one thing that happened to me. So I think a lot of people switching over to going vegan, there is like a period at the beginning where their digestion is kind of still getting used to eating things that maybe you're not used to eating. And so it's pretty common, and it was common in my 12-week program. A lot of people who weren't used to eating vegan that were doing the program, they were having a lot of issues with their stomach eating that food, and I didn't have that because I think my gut was already used to eating those types of things. But you know, since I kind of switched it up this week and was trying some different things, I think that had a little bit of an effect. So yeah, just wanted to note that I had my first real experience with the protein farts. So I guess it's a real thing.